Game Freak has always had a thing for haunted histories and scary sights, ever since Pokemon's very beginning. One thing that has been consistent for 15 years now are the mysterious appearances of a ghost girl. These sightings provide very little detail, and most times the visions are unrelated, but you can count on one thing: they sure are a fan favorite. In the spirit of spook, I decided to document each spine-chilling presence from the beyond. Get your cleanse tag and Sylph Scope ready as we go back to the Ghost Girl's debut in 2007's Pokémon Diamond and Pearl. Inside Eterna Forest lies a quaint residence named the Old Chateau. Gym Leader Gardenia is standing outside the building in fear of what resides inside. With the help of Cut, you can enter the premises and see what the fuss is all about. Namely, this place is famous for housing the very first catchable instance of Rotom. But the Plasma Pokémon is not the only ghost inside. In one of the upstairs bedrooms, you may notice a painting with red eyes. Visiting the other rooms upstairs, and those red eyes seem to be looking in your direction anywhere you are. No matter, you could be imagining things, but visiting the old chateau at night, it's undeniable there's something else lurking these halls. In fact, you may occasionally see a butler in the dining hall who vanishes into thin air. Or if you're lucky, the spirit of a girl floating around with no destination. There's even a very eerie episode of Pokémon Generations centered on this abandoned mansion and Cheryl's terrifying experiences within. Check the description if you're interested in seeing it. In the same games, in Route 217, there's a lone house in a heavy blizzard. When entering, there's a lady by herself with the lights off, speaking strangely. She hands you a spell tag and you're free to leave. If you come back inside, however, you'll notice that she's no longer there. It's dark in here, but you're certain that it's empty. Where could she have gone? You can see both of these anomalies in Diamond, Pearl, Platinum, and in the newly added Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl as well. In 2011's Pokémon Black and White, there's a lone man on the far east side of Marvelous Bridge. Very rarely, you may spot a girl next to him, who, when approached, fades away into nothing. The man sees this and is caught off guard, as any normal man would be. Visiting the gate nearby, there's an old lady who remembers a time before the Marvelous Bridge existed, and a young girl there who played with her Abra. The two events may seem unrelated until we get a little more information in 2012's Pokémon Black and White 2. In the newly accessible Reversal Mountain in eastern Unova, not too far from the Marvelous Bridge, you'll find the Strange House. Yes, another spooky mansion seemingly uninhabited. What's interesting with this one, though, is that there are various pieces of furniture blocking doors and shaking in place. Could be the wind. You find a door that's not blocked and go inside, only to find the sofas, tables, and wardrobes rearranged. Compare this room now to when you visit it later. Something is definitely off here. Eventually, while roaming the creaky house, you'll be interrupted by the same girl from the bridge who mentions a dark dream and that she's looking for her parents and Abra. Continuing further into the moving pathway, she'll speak in the past tense and leave behind the lunar wing, hoping you'll return it to Cresselia for her. It seems she's suffering no more. In 2013's Pokémon X and Y is probably the most infamous encounter with the spirits. In the lively and bustling Lumiose City, you'll find a building on North Boulevard with an empty upstairs office space. When getting off the elevator, you'll be approached by a sudden chill and a woman who says one thing only. No, you're not the one. You have no idea what that means, but you're glad you're not who she was looking for. The room is empty. Where could she have run off to? In the following year, Pokémon Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire was released. You can see the same girl again in Mount Pyre's first floor, and she says something very similar. Who is the one, and why are they so important? That's not it, however. In the final stretch of the story, as a challenger to Phoebe of the Elite Four, there's someone else in the room with you. During Phoebe's speech, there's a brief glimpse of a young girl holding a doll sitting in the chair behind her. Your character doesn't seem to notice this, and the next angle is of the girl's perspective, her hopping out of the chair and approaching Brendan slowly. Lastly, the girl is seen standing right next to him, as close as can be, but he still doesn't notice. Is she not on this plane of existence? In 2016, in preparation for Sun and Moon, Game Freak released a demo to hype up the fans. This demo contains a small chunk of Melee Island, with its own unique story, and it's famous for being the only way of receiving Greninja with the Battle Bond ability. In this demo, however, there's a girl at the marina who claims she's leaving by boat in 24 days. Come back on the 24th day, no sooner and no later, and you can see her off. Her last words mention seeing her parents again. She walks towards the dock and disappears behind a passing Machamp. Did anyone else in the marina see that? I wonder if there truly is a ship leaving today after all. We revisit Alola again in 2017's Pokémon Ultra Sun and Moon. And at the Big Wave Beach on Melee Island, there's a youngster with something interesting to say. He mentioned there are ghosts at the trainer school at night, and now no one goes there. Are you brave enough to check it out? If you are, you'll find a preschooler and her Drifloon, a ghost-type Pokemon infamous for capturing children, standing alone in the lot. She mentions the ghostly rumors have people scared and asks you to solve the 7 mysteries, with only 6 of them she remembers. She advises you to be careful as you are in danger. Each rumor seems scary, but upon investigation you find out what is truly happening, and it's actually not that scary at all. Or so you think. Going down the list proves slightly scarier and scarier rumors. The final one is a tale of a ghost class on the 2nd floor. Upon visiting said room, there's a full classroom of children who eerily hint at how time does not pass for them. You may notice the girl in the back speaks just like the one outside. In fact, she looks just like her too. Must be a coincidence. Speaking with the teacher in front and asking who she is breaks her spell, and you see the entity's true identity. The Hypno runs seemingly through the wall. Was it a Hypno? Or perhaps the Drifloon? When you solve all 7 mysteries, speak with the girl in the lot and she gives you the wise glasses. She mentions she's not from here and speaks a different language. Hey! You over there! What are you doing this late at night? You're interrupted by a security guard who questions you. Looking back, the girl is no longer there. I guess she ran off. Speaking with the officer, it seems he's familiar with the 7 mysteries, but according to him, you were alone here in the lot when he came up to you. Maybe he's just in on the joke, I hope. The final appearance of the Ghost Girl, with the exception of BDSP's revisitation, is in 2019's Pokémon Sword and Shield. In Hammerlock's east side, you'll see a small girl by herself. Speaking to her, she says she needs someone she can trust to deliver a love letter to Frank in the city of Balanlea. You notice that the letter looks old. Visiting Balanlea, you begin searching for Frank. Assuming it's another child, you can speak with the boy out front, only to find out that Frank is his grandfather. He's surprised to see the letter is from Paula, which makes him nostalgic. Paula was the name of a girl he had spent time with playing way back when he was younger. She got sick, however, and kept it a secret, and he found out. Angry, they got into a fight, and he, not long after, had to move away. He never saw her again and asks how she was.
Did she look well? Dear old Paula.
Your character has the choice to lie and say she did look well, or to keep quiet. Either way, the man thanks you for delivering and hands you a reward. If you revisit where Paula is, there's nothing left but a scrap of Reaper cloth, a ghostly rag. Did Paula pass from the sickness all those years ago? Was that really her we just spoke with? As of now, those are all the unearthly tales from the unknown. Knowing Game Freak, it's almost certain that we'll have yet another visit from the afterlife in next month's Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. Are you brave enough to stick around and find out?